finally, that is when I got my official diagnosis. That procedure was really uncomfortable. I could feel it moving around. I was starting to get some side effects. Some guy walks by and he's looking at me like, oh, because at this point it was like dripping, like gushing. That was rough. Looking in the mirror, just seeing myself wither away. All right, what is up, you guys? I am back. I apologize, I'm a little bit late this week on an upload, and the last upload was not a part of the cancer story. But I'm back and I'm here to carry on. That being said, first of all, thank you guys so much for over 1,000 subscribers. That is incredible. I did not expect to hit that in, I think, less than a month. Yeah, 28 days. We hit 1,000 subs. That's insane. I mean, this is like in a way, it's kind of a dream come true. I totally forgot that when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a YouTuber. Definitely didn't think it would be in this fashion, I guess, but I thought it would be like gaming or something. I used to be really into gaming, but yeah, this is like very surreal. I know like I have more followers on Instagram or whatever, but I do care deeply about my Instagram followers, especially if I'm making an impact on them. But YouTube definitely has a special place in my heart. And yeah, just thank you guys so much for all the love and support and the nice comments. And it's really nice to talk to you guys about some things and hear your experiences as well. And please don't ever hesitate to contact me and reach out or comment. Ask me questions. Any way I can help you guys, I would absolutely love to. That's why I do this. So yeah, again, thank you all so much for 1,000 subscribers. I didn't even have time to process. I mean, I thought this would take me a lot longer. So honestly, I don't have anything planned to celebrate. But comment down below if you guys have any ideas and I'll definitely consider it. That being said, let's get into the video today. So, cancer story part 4. I left you guys off last time when I got that severe stomach pain after my surgical biopsy. Like I said, things were looking up, and then all of a sudden this crazy stomach pain. They did some scans and I was still in a lot of pain. And it turned out, based on a CT scan, that I had to take a poop. And that was it. That is what caused me to beg for pain medicine and projectile vomit into the toilet. That's what it was. So I just thought that was funny, and just like another thing that I experienced. And as I went through and took my notes, I just keep finding more and more things that I forgot about that just, I guess they pale in comparison to the other things that happened to me, but they're still like, you know, crazy experiences. So hopefully this continues to be entertaining for you guys. So yes, oxycodone is what I was taking a lot for pain, especially at Emory down in Georgia. So that's, I think, probably what was causing my constipation. And they just gave me some Miralax, and I think probably just stool softeners. I was already receiving those to begin with. So after that, definitely confirmed that that was the issue. I'll just say that. But yeah, that's all it was. So anyways, moving on. Soon after that, I was transferred to a different building at Inova, and I was no longer in the ICU. So this was the blood cancer floor. It was on the 9th floor in a different building. So that was kind of nice. That room was much bigger. They had really good breakfast and food all day, at least in Tower 7, or not Tower 7. If you know, you know on that one. But correction, the South Tower, specifically the 9th floor. Around this time, they also started to give me some steroids, specifically prednisone, quite a bit. I think it was around 100 milligrams, which is a lot. I could have that wrong. Please don't quote me on that. But yeah, that helped a lot. My appetite shot through the roof and I was feeling amazing. And then I started walking a lot more. I was walking this whole time. Even with the chest tubes and everything, a lot of the nurses would be like very scared that I was. If you saw me there, I was like doing my laps with these chest tubes in. It was really painful, but I still just pushed myself to do it because I knew that is just gonna help, obviously. So they put me on the steroids. I started to feel a lot better, getting more movement in, being able to be up and about, eating more, obviously, because my appetite boost. And then around that time, I believe it was February 18th, finally, that is when I got my official diagnosis of lymphoma, B-cell, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, something like fast-growing, aggressive, something. There's definitely a more specific diagnosis. If you guys are interested, I can try to figure out exactly what that is. Comment down below if you are. Otherwise, that's the general diagnosis. So I finally got that, which means that they could start me on chemotherapy. So the plan was first cycle was going to be done inpatient, and then the rest would be done outpatient. So like I said, they are prepping me for chemo. On February 19th, they placed the PICC line. A little bit of complications there. Due to the sheer size of the mass in the tumor, they couldn't go with, regularly a PICC line would go in, preferably on the left side, I believe, and it would travel all the way across like that. I don't know how to describe it scientifically, but that's kind of the plane of motion. Since it was so big, they couldn't actually go through. They used a pediatric line and they went into a different artery. By the way, I believe the surgeon who did that, I believe he was like number 1 or number 2 in the nation. So that was pretty cool. I forget who told me that, probably my mom. But yeah, somehow I found that out. Anyways, that procedure was really uncomfortable. I mean, by the way, he did a great job. He did amazing. It was just the fact that I could feel it moving around in my chest and stuff. Obviously, like I said, they put it in through here and then they just keep pushing it, and it's numb down here, so it's not very painful. But then once it gets to about this area, you can start to feel it. And then I just felt it all the way up here. Meanwhile, I'm laying down flat. It's already hard to do that because of everything going on with my breathing and coughing and stuff. But they have this X-ray machine right up against my face so that they can see what they're doing, obviously, with the where the PICC line's going, make sure they get in the right spot. That was a little bit nauseating. I had to take a second, but it was pretty quick, efficient, minimal pain. And yeah, so I got that placed. And then they took me back to my room on the 9th floor of that other tower. And they actually had me lay backwards for 30 minutes just so that the blood can, I guess, clot and well, maybe not clot, just stop bleeding. They actually did the same thing for my, if you guys remember in the last episode, I talked about the ECMO prep where they put it through my groin. Obviously, this is part 4, so if you haven't seen part 1 through 3, you should definitely go and watch it, or else you're going to be like thrown into this mess. But yeah, so I had to do the same thing after they put that in and took it out. Anyways, that's besides the point. So like I said, chemotherapy plan was laid out, and I was going to do the first one inpatient and then the next 5 outpatient. So each cycle was about 100 hours. The first one was definitely longer. Initially, on the first round, there was a lot of issues with the PICC line. It kept feeling like there was just this crazy amount of pressure in my chest and shoulder. Not to mention, I was still dealing with this air pocket where they did the surgical biopsy, which I briefly talked about in the last episode. Just to remind you guys, I had a little pocket of air, but that was not really related. And I was just having pain all the way up my arm and shoulder, especially my chest around my mass and everything. So I actually warned them that they should definitely put it on the right side, because all of the IVs that they were trying to do on my left arm were not working. It turns out after they did a ultrasound in like the middle of the night, oh my gosh, now I'm remembering. That was awful. It was the night shift, and for some reason that's when they could get me in, and like it took forever. And then like they were trying to get me transport back after they did it, and that took like over an hour. It was, I don't even know why, but I was chilling. I was just talking to my nurse, and like she was like, "I'm so sorry." I was like, "It's not your fault." But anyways, so during that, obviously they found quite a few blood clots, and I'm actually still dealing with them now. They put me on Eliquis for it, and I ran out of, I guess, whatever the insurance covers, and I can't afford it because it's $700. So hopefully they go away on their own. I might have to talk to my doctor about that and maybe try to get like another approval with insurance, but there's like, don't even get me started on the insurance issues that I've been dealing with Inova, dude. Oh, wow. Wow. Since day one, they have screwed me over with the insurance royally. They've been charging Cigna. I don't even have Cigna. I have TRICARE, obviously. As many of you know, my wife is in the military. That's like a whole nother video in and of itself. But anyways, so that's what was going on. That was the issue with it. And it kept beeping. When they were infusing me with the first chemo, it was beeping every couple of minutes the whole night. I couldn't even sleep for like a couple days because it just kept beeping and beeping and beeping. Every time they would switch the bag, you have to flush it and make sure that you get blood return on it. If they're getting blood return, they know it's like in the vein properly. But every time they did that, they weren't getting blood return. And it would take them forever. And they were really struggling with it. At one point, this one nurse was aggressively trying to pump it, I guess, with the syringe. And I was just like jerking around while she's doing it. And I was like, I think it's not going to work. And then she just like gave up. Definitely experienced a lot of patience in this hospital stay. Tested me a lot, which is good. Like I said, a lot of good things have come with this. Anyways, a couple days in to the chemo, I think it was the 22nd, I was starting to get some side effects. And one of them was like my face would get flush, which I think that one might be common. Another one was a loss of vision. I would get the opposite of tunnel vision. So like the middle of my vision would go dark. And the best way I can describe it is like if you rub your eyes a bunch and then you look around and everything's almost like watercolor. It's kind of like that. So, and then it would get really bad to the point where I couldn't see anything. So that was just like another thing that I totally forgot about, and I noted it. I think that was the last type of chemo they gave me after the main ones. And that was the one where you see the most side effects. But after that, it was fine. I didn't get any nausea yet. Even my appetite was fine. I really they said I took it like a champ. So that was good. Around this time, I think I was the lightest I have ever been. Maybe like middle school, I've been lighter or like early high school, but I was 165 pounds. So I lost about anywhere from at least 30 pounds to about 40 pounds I lost. That was rough. Looking in the mirror, just seeing myself wither away. It was really hard, and it really challenged me to just lean on God and take my ego out of it, because it's hard, you know? It's really hard to watch yourself. I mean, I spent years in the gym. Not that I care please don't think like I care so much about how I look and stuff. It's just how I look is a product of all the hard work that I've put in the gym, and I was just watching it all fade away before my eyes. So that was hard, but things were looking up. Towards the end of my stay, like I was just worrying about the chest tubes and stuff. I expected worse, honestly, out of the first round of chemo, because they say that's usually the worst one. It could have been much worse, and I praise God that it wasn't. And at that point, I was pretty hopeful to be getting out soon. Honestly, I mean, despite not even barely being able to process what just happened to me, I was just like so excited to get out of the hospital. I could not wait to go home and shower, and without a bunch of things hooked up to me and not being constantly watched by nurses all day. I mean, like, bless their souls, I know they're just doing their job, but of course not having privacy for anybody is just hard. I'll leave you off with just this one final thing, and then I think I'm gonna have to cut it off because it's going on pretty long. As you know, I had a chest tube in on the right side, and their plan was to pull it out. They were doing some scans and they saw still some liquid in it, but the issue was it wasn't, again, even on this side, it wasn't flushing. They couldn't get it to pull or push. Either way, they had to take it out, even if there was other fluid, because the chest tube wasn't even working anymore. The hope was that they could pull it out and they wouldn't have to put another one in. They ended up doing it bedside on February 25th. The hope was that they would pull this out, and then within a day or two, I would be able to get out because I wouldn't be hooked up to anything. So yeah, the doctor came in bedside. She was cool the whole time. She pulled it out. Like I told you guys in the previous episodes, the way these pull these things out, like the heart drain and the lung drain, they just tell you to like brace or breathe out or something like that. And they just go 3, 2, 1, and they yank it out of you. So that's what she did. And then I got a little bit of relief. She was like, okay, cool, everything's fine. She bandaged it up and she was on her way. As she was walking away, she's still down the hall. I go, coughed a little bit, and then I was like, oh, uh-oh, I felt something dripping a lot. And I get up and I'm like, oh crap. This thing was not done draining, that's for sure. I walk over and I open the door and I'm like looking for her, and she's walking down the hall, and I'm like, she was too far to even call for. And I'm just like, dang, this is unfortunate. And then some guy walks by and he's looking at me like, oh. And I was like, I'm not peeing myself, because at this point it was like dripping, like gushing all over the floor, all this fluid coming out of my side. And he was like, he just looked at me like, what the heck is going on? And I'm like, I'm not peeing. She just pulled my chest tube and now it's like leaking everywhere. And he was like, what? So yeah, it never ends, it seems. Like I said, this is running on too long now, so I'm gonna have to leave it off there with another cliffhanger. Stay tuned, I will explain the rest of that. I promise you I will be out of the hospital soon. I mean, I'm out of the hospital now, as you guys can see, but like in the storyline, I will be out of the hospital soon. But keep watching, because there's some more crazy stuff to come, even outpatient. And then I do actually have another hospital stay that I need to tell you guys about. Thankfully it was short, but you guys will see. Just keep watching, and thank you guys again so much for 1,000 subscribers. That's incredible. I hope that I can continue to keep growing with you guys, and thank you all for your support and your love. And like I said, it's just so good to talk to you guys. It's comforting to know that I'm not the only one out there who's gone through similar things. I give all the glory to God for bringing me through all of this and continuing to bless my life. I hope that if y'all take anything from this, it's just that God is good and He is with you. He is sovereign over all. Although bad things happen in this world, that doesn't mean that God is not with you to carry you through it. Unfortunately, this world is full of sin, full of bad people that have free will, and they have the free will to do bad things. And it kind of just, infests the whole world. I know it's hard to understand sometimes why God would, not intercede, but you have to remember that we have free will and we're not robots. So anyways, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching. God bless.